Hello everyone, Jules here. Today I'd like to show some divination books, and these are a few divination books that are covering different forms of divination, and they're all in one book and they're good general guides and quite useful to use. So the first one is The Fortune Teller's Bible by Jane Struthers, and this one was published fairly recently, in recent years, and it's a really useful book, and it makes a really good first book on divination too, and it covers a range of different divination methods, as you can maybe see from the cover. There's the Yi Jing, there's runes, tarot, and I think even tea leaves in here, and all different kinds of divination. And it's quite a useful and handy quick guide. So I quite like this book, and I think it's a really good first book on divination for people who want to get a book that's quite accessible, where they feel that they can begin to learn the different methods without feeling a bit overwhelmed. So this is The Fortune Teller's Bible by Jane Struthers, and it's got all coloured illustrations and pictures in here. The next one is by quite a well-known author, Cassandra Eason. This is a hardcover version, A Complete Guide to Divination. And this has runes and tarot in here and a lot of different divination methods. And Cassandra Eason has written a number of books on different divination methods and tarot, and she has also written quite a few books on Wicca and magic as well, which is quite well known. This is the hardcover book. It's probably available in paperback, I'm not too sure. It's probably out of print, but you would have to get this one on Amazon. But again, it's another really good general guide, and it's quite basic and relatively easy to follow. So I quite like this book, and I quite like books by Cassandra Eason. So I want to recommend this book as well. So A Complete Guide to Divination by Cassandra Eason. The next book is a little bit different. This book is just about oracles, and it's one of those complete idiot's guide series of books. I don't have many of these books. I particularly bought this book a few years ago because it's supposed to be about oracles in general, but more particularly this book is actually about the goddess oracle that a lot of people probably know and have heard of. And this is a photograph of a picture from the Sophia Goddess of Wisdom card that's on the cover. So what is quite good about this one is for people who really like the goddess oracle. This is a really good book because most of the book is information about each of the cards from the Goddess Oracle. I know that the Goddess Oracle, which is published by US Games, and apparently there was an earlier version, an earlier publication by another company before that. So this is a really good book for people who really particularly like that Oracle deck. It does talk about oracles in general, but about 2/3 of the book is about the Goddess Oracle in particular. So I think a lot of people don't know about this book. It would still be available. If not, you would get this on Amazon. But I think a lot of people don't know about this one because the Goddess Oracle deck did come with its own companion book, and that's okay and that's fine to use. But this book seems to go into the meanings or information about each of the cards in a bit more depth. So I was really lucky when I found this book a little bit by accident in a way, because I wouldn't normally buy a complete idiot's guide book. But this one is quite well written. It is by R.McClain and Carolyn Flynn. And I'll put the details below the video anyway when I upload the video. So, Oracles by Carolyn Flynn and R.McClain. Really good book, particularly if you like the Goddess Oracle deck. The next book is by quite a well-known author. The Illustrated Guide to Divination by Judy Hall. This one is probably out of print. This is a really good book. Any book written by Judy Hall is usually very good. She has written a lot of books on crystals in recent years, but before that, Judy Hall wrote very good books on astrology. She is an astrologer, but she seems to be more of a crystal expert now. This book is really useful because it also covers particular oracle decks, and particularly oracle decks that may be out of print. So this book is really quite different in that way. It actually looks at oracles in general, but particular oracle decks. All kinds of particular oracle decks. Like, for example, the Sacred Path cards. Some of the meanings to that deck is in here. The medicine cards. It has some tarot in here, mahjong, dreams, tea leaf symbols, another Egyptian oracle which I actually have, which is called Cartouche, covers that one as well. Another one called the Eye of Horus, as Egyptian oracles. Celtic Wisdom Tarot, the Greenwood Tarot. There's information in here on the Greenwood, some of the Greenwood Tarot cards. Celtic Tree Oracle. Yeah, so this is a really good book if you can get it. The Illustrated Guide to Divination by Judy Hall. And the last book may be out of print. It's a large hardcover book predicting your future, and the author's name is just Selene. But it's quite a good book. This book is probably long out of print, but if you could pick this up anywhere, it's really worth getting. There is tarot in here, the I Ching, runes. There's all kinds of things in here, and it's very well done. and it's all divided into different chapters and sections on different divination. It even covers dominoes, which is pretty unusual, and tarot and tarot spreads, and cartomancy using playing cards, Chinese astrology, yes, there's a whole range of different things in here. So Predicting Your Future by Selene. Okay, so there's a few books on divination in general and oracles, and I'll put all the details below the video. So thanks for watching. Bye for now.